A tiny puppy was left all alone in a cardboard box on a sidewalk filled with people, when Peaches, an orange mother cat, stumbled upon the scene. What she did next is truly heartwarming. Welcome to Wonderbot Animals. One day, a very young puppy found itself all alone in a cardboard box on a sidewalk crowded with people. Peaches, a friendly orange cat who lived with her owners close by, was taking a stroll in the morning when she discovered the box. She heard soft whimpers and decided to check it out. Looking inside, she saw a small puppy with brown and black fur. The puppy was too young to be away from its mom and was shaking from the cold. Peaches, who had recently had 4 kittens, felt a strong urge to help and climbed into the box to keep the puppy warm. She cuddled the puppy just like she would with her kittens. The puppy calmed down, stopped whimpering, and felt the warmth. Soon after, the puppy fell asleep. Peaches stayed with the puppy until the sun was up and it got too warm inside the box. Then she started meowing loudly, hoping someone walking by would notice them. But the noisy city drowned out her calls and no one seemed to hear. As the day got hotter, the orange cat made a choice that would forever alter her life, the lives of her human family, and the life of the puppy. She got up, stretched, and then carefully picked up the puppy with her mouth as softly as if it were one of her own kittens. With the puppy safely in her care, she headed towards her home. The apartment where the orange tabby and her human family lived was not far, and they arrived shortly before her humans were expected to return from their jobs. The cat usually used the fire escape to get in and out, and she climbed it now, extra cautious with the puppy in her care. Once inside through the window, they were met with the welcoming sounds of her kittens in the crate prepared by her owners. She gently set the puppy down on a soft blanket next to her kittens, who were at first puzzled but then intrigued by the new arrival. Peaches watched nervously as her kittens approached the puppy, their curiosity overcoming them. The puppy, having been taken from its family too soon, was overjoyed, and it wasn't long before all 5 animals were playing together. As feeding time approached for the kittens, Peaches did something extraordinary. She lay down, calling her kittens over for feeding. The puppy, however, stayed back, unsure and hungry, having not eaten properly for a while. Then, after one kitten had finished, Peaches beckoned the puppy over with her paw, guiding it to the empty spot. With some encouragement, the puppy began to nurse alongside the kittens. Just then, the front door opened, and Max and April, the cat's owners who loved animals deeply and supported local shelters, came in. They had adopted Peaches from a shelter after her previous owner could no longer care for her, especially with kittens on the way. The orange tabby had found a loving home for her and her kittens, and she hoped that her human family would be just as welcoming to the new puppy. As they settled back into their home routine, April and Max moved quietly around the house, their soft conversations filling the air. April began preparing something in the kitchen, catching Peaches' attention with the sound of a can opening. The orange cat, accustomed to being fed at this time, perked up, her gaze shifting between her sleeping kittens and the puppy curled up in a corner of the crate. When April called for Peaches with a familiar clicking sound, there was no immediate response. Concerned, April slowly approached the crate, wondering if something might be amiss, especially since they had all been to the vet just the day before. As April neared, she saw Peaches watching over her kittens and the newcomer. The cat, sensing her human's presence, eagerly approached her food bowl placed outside the crate, though she kept an eye on her little ones. The vet had advised April to monitor the kittens, but to avoid disturbing them unless necessary. Trusting in this guidance, April reached towards the kittens without causing any concern for Peaches, who continued to eat. As April affectionately checked on each kitten, she was startled to find an extra, unfamiliar presence among them. Initially fearing another cat might have sneaked in, April grabbed her phone to use its light for a better look. Instead of another kitten, she discovered the puppy stirring from its sleep. Her surprise call for Max brought him rushing over, just as Peaches positioned herself protectively in front of the puppy. April, cautious not to alarm the mother cat, watched as the puppy snuggled closer to Peaches, with Max joining the scene in astonishment. The puppy, eager for interaction, moved towards the pair, while Peaches observed with a watchful eye. April gently lifted the puppy, which yipped softly before settling in her arms, under the attentive gaze of its adoptive feline mother. Max and April were amazed by the unexpected addition, realizing the puppy couldn't have reached their home on its own. The puppy's whimper drew Peaches closer, signaling her desire to reclaim her adopted charge. April, understanding the gesture, placed the puppy back on the floor, marveling as Peaches tenderly groomed it before taking it back into the crate. Max and April had figured out how the puppy ended up in their home, but now they faced a new question. Where had the puppy come from? Max, who worked at a local vet's office, quickly got on the phone with his boss to ask about any missing puppies nearby. He learned that while there were no reports of missing puppies, there were several instances of puppies being left in boxes, trash bins, and even outside shelters. Given it was late January, it seemed some people who had received puppies as holiday gifts were abandoning them once they realized the amount of care required. The vet recommended bringing the puppy in for a health check, to which Max and April readily agreed. As April prepared to place the puppy in a carrier, Peaches made it clear she did not want to be separated from her adopted baby, batting at April's hand in protest. April, understanding but determined, knew the puppy needed to be checked for the sake of its health and the well-being of Peaches and her kittens. Drawing on her experience from volunteering at an animal shelter, April devised a plan to coax Peaches and the puppy into the carrier using treats. April used a pureed chicken treat, knowing it would attract both Peaches and the puppy. The scent of the treat piqued their interest, leading the puppy toward the carrier with Peaches closely following. Once both were inside, April quickly closed the door and handed the carrier to Max. He would take them to the vet, while April stayed home with the kittens. Loaded into the car, Max, Peaches, and the puppy headed to the vet's office. Upon arrival, they were promptly shown to an examination room for the puppy's checkup. The vet had been warned about the special situation involving Peaches and the puppy, but was still amazed when she saw them together. The man explained that the cat and her adopted puppy had calmed down during their ride, and as the vet looked inside the carrier, she saw why. Peaches had curled herself around the puppy, keeping him snug and warm just like she had in the cardboard box. Although the vet knew of animals adopting babies not their own, seeing it firsthand was astonishing. She gently lifted the puppy out of the carrier, letting the sleeping Peaches be to start the examination. The vet found out the puppy was a 6-week-old German Shepherd, which was concerning since puppies shouldn't be away from their mothers until at least 8 weeks old. The puppy was underweight and missing important nutrients, but this could be fixed with milk replacement. The vet assured Max that with Peach's early intervention and care, the puppy would thrive. Max was thrilled with the news and decided against sending the puppy to a shelter, especially upon hearing it was full and considering the puppy's need for socialization. Naming the puppy bear due to his shaggy brown fur, Max bonded with him quickly. When Peaches woke up and noticed Bear was missing, Max reunited them and Peaches resumed her motherly grooming. After thanking the vet, Max returned home with them. Back home, Peaches introduced Bear to his siblings again, and the household was filled with joy as Bear grew healthy and strong with the love and care from both his human family and his feline mother. This story highlights how unexpected and profound the bond between animals can be, challenging the stereotype of cats and dogs as foes and showcasing the depth of a mother's love across species. What are your thoughts on this touching tale? Share your reactions and thoughts with us.